Hi everyone and welcome back. Recently I had gone on a fishing trip up to Door County, Wisconsin around Sturgeon Bay and spent 2 days with my son, my uncle-in-law and his grandson out on a charter boat on Lake Michigan catching salmon and a rainbow trout as well. And we caught about 160 pounds worth of fish, filleted them, and each brought home about 40 pounds of salmon fillets. So I have a freezer full of fish. And so I thought I'd do a video on this, and you know, looking back on my past videos and thinking back about all the cooks I've done on a Kamado, you know, either my current Big Joe or my Char-Griller Acorn prior to that, I never did a smoked fish video, and I don't think I've ever smoked fish on any of these two Kamados. I don't know why, just never did, whatever. But I have a freezer full of this stuff, and I figured I would take the opportunity to finally get around to smoking some wild-caught salmon on my Kamado grill. So if you want to see how I do it, keep on watching. So here's my salmon. I actually caught this myself in Lake Michigan off the coast of Sturgeon Bay in Door County, Wisconsin there. So this is wild caught salmon, and as a result it's going to have some bones in here, which I can feel with my fingers right along this ridge here and on this side too as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these out one at a time. So they're really easy to find. You just push down and they pop up, and you can grip them with a pair of needle nose pliers or some tweezers, pull them out just like that, see? And I'm going to go through the whole line and pull them all out. And that would be it. There we go. All deboned. For my brine, I have a bowl here already pre-mixed with about 1 cup of salt, 1 cup of brown sugar, and a teaspoon of black pepper. Along with this, I'm going to chop up this pile of fresh dill I picked from my garden into smaller pieces, and I'm going to stir all that into, and what the result is going to be my brine. All right, throw that in. Stir it in. Stir that all in just like that and get it all mixed in, and we'll go ahead and put this on the fish. What I have here, a couple trays that are going to hold this salmon while it brines. So my fillet was so big I had to cut it in half in order to fit these trays. But what I'm going to do is put a layer of my brine on the bottom of each of these, just like that, and put the fish in. There's one there, and one there. And now I'm going to add more rub to the top, mix it in. All right, then I'm going to just pack it on. Now I'm going to cover these in plastic wrap. I'm going to put these in the fridge overnight. If you've never smoked fish before, you may not know why there's so much salt in this brine or cure. It's because with salmon, if you just were to not do this and throw it on a smoker or a grill and cook it, you'll get this white stuff coming to the surface. It's called albumin, I think it's pronounced. Not sure. Anyway, this stuff squeezes out of the inside of the meat. I think they're like proteins, this kind of a white protein substance that comes out, and it looks kind of disgusting on top. A lot of people, it turns people off. It doesn't taste any worse. I mean, it just doesn't look good. It's not attractive. So one of the things that all the salt does is prevent this protein from bubbling up out of the meat while it cooks. Now it's the following day, probably about 17 to 18 hours since I applied this dry brine or cure to this fish. It's been in the fridge the entire time overnight. I just took the plastic wrap off, and you can see there's a lot of liquid that came out of this thing. So now I'm going to go ahead and rinse these off and remove the remaining cure or dry brine off of here. After rinsing them off, I went ahead and put them on a new dry plate, and I'm going to go around and blot the moisture off the top surface of the fish on both fillets. Now I'm going to let them stay right here in my cool basement for the next couple hours or more or so, depending on how long it takes to air dry the top surface of these to form what's called the pellicle, which is sort of a drier, tackier surface on top of here, which will be helpful with adhering some of the smoke, and as well as keeping some of the moisture that's still inside the fish while it cooks. I'm going to go ahead and turn on a fan here, and I am going to speed up this process by blowing some air across the top of these, and we'll be back in a couple hours. So this term pellicle, I didn't even know what it was called before recently either. I just knew that you had to do this. I never knew why, and I looked into it a little bit. Well, and it does a couple things, right? It dries the surface of the skin of the fish. For one, it helps keep the remaining moisture inside the fish contained. It's sort of like a barrier, basically, to keep the remaining moisture that's in the fish from after this brining process in the fish. Also, it also helps, from what I read, to help the smoke adhere to the fish better too. So there's two reasons for doing this, and if you go online, aside from this video, and look at other videos and other recipes, they all do the same thing, and those that don't know what they're doing, because this actually works very, very well. So don't skip this step. Now it's been 3 hours, and you can see, or maybe not, maybe I'll zoom in here, but there's a very kind of a dry skin, kind of a wrinkly kind of dryness to the very top of both these fillets. So so the pellicle's formed, and let's get it on the smoker. Now with the fire started down below with my lump charcoal catching, I'm going to toss some wood chunks in here. These are cherry wood. I would prefer alder if I can get my hands on them, but I could not find alder in a while where I live. So cherry wood is light wood. That's a good substitute. I'm going to add my heat deflectors because I'm going to do this as a indirect cooking. I'm going to smoke it at temperatures hopefully below 200 degrees is my goal, maybe 180 degrees is my target. Put on one grate, and then the other. I'm going to close this up and adjust the vents to get it up ideally to about 180 degrees. Alright, it's time to put on the fillets. So I'm going to throw this one on here, just like that. I'm going to throw this one on next to it. I got my little thermometer probe, temperature probe back here to keep me aware, help keep me informed of what the temperature is on the grate. So it's about a 150 right now. I'm hoping to keep it between 150 and 180, but definitely under 200 if at all possible. We're an hour into the cooking process here, and the grill is at 167, and this was a gradual climb from about 153. So about a 14 degree increase in about an hour. I got the vents pretty well tightened down to keep it this low for so long. And if you're curious and have a Kamado Joe Big Joe like myself, I'll show you. So that bottom vent's about a ½ inch open or so, the bottom. And here on top, the vent is closed all the way with the daisy wheel cracked, I'd say about 15% open there. And that's where I'm at right now. This may climb a bit more, but it's definitely under 180, and that makes me happy. It's at 174 after about an hour and some odd minutes here, and I closed the vent down on top, cracked it to even more of a sliver, and down the bottom even more of a sliver. I cracked it down a little bit more too, to maybe just under a ½ inch. Now, close to about 2 hours into this process, I decided to change things a little bit. I have two large halves of a fillet and a group of people coming over. Well, it's a lot of fish, so I figured I would give one a little bit of an extra flavor addition to it. So I went inside and got some maple syrup, brought it out, brushed it all over the fish, just give it a little bit of a different flavor to it. Okay folks, here we are 2¼ hours later, and I checked it with a temperature probe already, and it is about 145 in many places. It is ready to come off and give it a little taste. Let's give this a taste, huh? Let's reach in there and grab a little bit. Look at that. Oh man. All right. Oh, good. Oh, that's so good. I love the salmon. That was really good. Wild caught, home smoked, brined, cured, a little bit of dill inside, a little bit of maple syrup on top. Outstanding. I love it. I got a whole freezer full of this fish too from my trip, so I'm going to do a lot more experimentation in the future. So there you go, guys. So if you like this video, please like it, subscribe if you have not subscribed to my channel, comment if you'd like to down below, and I will talk to you all next time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out other videos on my YouTube channel, and don't forget to subscribe.